welcome back to SP Learning Labs. Now we are entering phase 5, which means we are moving closer to real world systems where data is not static anymore. Data keeps changing and at the same time people keep asking questions on that data again and again. So today's topic is all about handling this situation efficiently, because solving once is easy, but maintaining answers when updates keep happening is the real challenge. Previous video recap. Till now you have solved problems where either you computed once or you optimized repeated work using dynamic programming. But here is the situation is different. Now data changes continuously and you cannot afford to recompute everything from scratch every time a query comes. So the focus shifts from solving once to maintaining answers efficiently. Hook. Let's imagine something real. Think about a stock market system where prices are changing every second and analysts are asking questions like, what was the minimum price between 2 times, or what is the total value in a certain range? Now, if every time you scan the entire data, the system becomes slow and eventually crashes. So, the question becomes simple. Can we answer range queries quickly even when updates are happening? That is exactly what segment trees solve. So, why do we need this? Now think about this carefully. If there were no updates, you could use prefix sums or answer queries instantly. But the moment updates are introduced, prefix sums become inefficient because you would have to rebuild everything again. So we need something that supports both fast queries and fast updates. Segment trees are built exactly for this. Concept 1. Understanding the problem, range queries. Imagine you have marks of students in an array and your teacher keeps asking what is the total marks from student 10 to student 30, and suddenly some marks are get updated. Now if you keep recalculating every time, it becomes slow. So instead of recomputing, we store useful information in advance. That is the core idea behind the range queries. Now, how do we store this information smartly? Segment tree structure. Instead of storing the array directly, we break it into segments. We divide the array into halves and then further halves until we reach individual elements. And we build a tree where each node represents a range and stores information like sum or a minimum. You can imagine it like a company where employees represent individual values, manager represents groups, and the CEO represents the whole data. So, instead of asking everyone, you ask the manager who already knows the answer. Now, let's see how we build this. Building the tree. We build the tree from bottom to top, where leaves store individual values and parent nodes combines the results. Let's look at the code. Here we have taken an array and n equals to length of an array. Taking the tree condition, now build as a function, take a condition in it and observe the conditions carefully. Take both the builds till the end, one to the mid and other one to the end. Now take a tree, take build is 1, 0 and n minus 1. Let's print tree 8. So each node knows the answer for its range. Let's save it and run it. There we go. We have our output tree from bottom to top. Now, what happens when a query comes? So, let's see about range query. When someone asks for a range, we don't scan everything. We check whether the current segment is completely inside the query or completely outside or partially overlapping. Now let's look at the code. Now let's look at the code. Take an array and length of the array. Take a build function and take conditions in it. Observe the conditions carefully. Take builds, one to the mid and one to the end. Take a tree node I'm taking a function query. This won't overlap. Return 0. This will completely overlap. And the other condition, mid will partially overlap. Now take left query and right query. Return left plus right. One till the mid and one till the end. Take build and print sum from index 1 to 3 and query 1, 0 and -1, 1 and 3. So we only visit relevant parts of the tree. Let's save it and run it. There we go. We have our output. Sum from index 1 to 3 is to 15. Now, what if the data changes? That's where point update comes in. Point update. If one value changes, we update only that. Leave and propagate changes upward. Let's look at the code. Take an array, length of the array, tree value. Take a build function. Now start tree node. Give build functions. The same conditions are written everywhere. The tree condition also. Now take an update function and give if start equals to end and mid condition. If index less than or equals to mid, then we'll update. Or else we'll update till the end. Take the tree condition there. Now build 1, 0 and n-1. Let's print before update. Add the updated array and print the after update. Let's save it and run it. So here we can see that updates stay efficient. Code part ends here. Lazy propagation. Instead of updating every element, we delay updates. We mark nodes and apply changes only when needed. Think of it like teacher announcing bonus marks but applying them only when someone asks. This is lazy propagation. Now think bigger. Real power of segment trees. Segment trees are not limited to sum. They can handle minimum, maximum, XOR and even more complex operations. That's why they are used in financial systems, databases and real-time analytics, where both queries and updates are frequent. So let's recap. So today you understood that instead of recomputing answers again and again, you store range information in a tree structure, and by combining results smartly, you can handle both queries and updates efficiently. Interview questions. Why would you use a segment tree instead of prefix sum array? How does a segment tree handle both range queries and updates efficiently? What are the three cases in a segment tree range query? What is lazy propagation and why is it needed? What is the time complexity of build update and query operations? Can segment trees handle operations other than sum? Now it's your turn. Take an array like this. Try to figure out how range sum query from index 1 to 3 would work, and then think what happens if the value at index 2 changes. Don't just read this. Try to solve it. Try to visualize the tree. Try to trace the update. Post your answers in the comments. I'll check them and help you improve. Next, we move to Fenwick trees, another powerful structure for range queries, but with a different approach. If this made sense, you're leveling up. Like, share and subscribe to SP Learning Labs, and I'll see you in the next one.